Well, hello there. Welcome back to my channel. This is the Unintentional ASMR Book Club. If you're new here, welcome. You're just in time for the bedtime stories. Tonight's book is called The Union, and this is the first reading of this book. So, let's begin. Chapter 1, Sage. When the automated blowing noise started from the fat clear tube hanging over the sink, my toes curled in anticipation. A soft, chilled bundle fell into my palms, the morning's electrolyte-enhanced sustenance for us workers. I drank eagerly. Chocolate-flavored liquid flowed down my tongue. My throat trickled from the corners of my mouth. Before I knew it, the last few drops were gone. The pack flattened. I resisted the urge to heave it across the room, knowing yet another strike would form against me once they calculated the missing container. Every little thing was accounted for there. This same dance occurred every day for lower residents who resided in the overcrowded projects of the subdivisions. Cube 771 was my personal hellhole within the union of civilization. It mirrored every other stale cube. 4 white walls with low white ceilings, an oval-shaped slumber pod in a corner, and an opening next to the can with 6 nude government-issued bodysuits, one for each day of required labor. After giving the pack one more hopeful squeeze to see if just maybe anything else was left inside, I placed the empty debris under the tube. The sensor vacuumed it right from my hand. Where it all went or came from, no one knew. My stomach rumbled, unsatisfied. I thought I'd be used to it by then. The hunger word on the streets was that the government was slowly lessening the rations, bit by bit, starving us before the illness took us all out for good. I was hungry always, and not just for sustenance. I'd overstayed my welcome. That was why it was time for me to go, right over that barrier we'd built. I wouldn't last much longer as a half-breed slave to the Union anyway. But until I could figure out a plan to escape, I was forced to work as a custodian at the academy, a pretentious campus where all the region's future leaders were prepped to rule unjustly over those who hadn't been born rich in melanin. I possessed some, but was unlucky enough to be on the lighter end. Mars genes were too strong. I wasn't pink or cream-colored like the others, but being half upper resident wasn't enough for the Union to render me anything other than a class impure. There were 3 classes of lower residents: domestic, chattel, and impure. All workers. Color determined everything. The paler you were, the worse you got it. Existing as an impure meant being at the bottom of the food chain. Every time I stepped outside of my cube, I was constantly reminded of how people like me weren't accepted in this world. I was reminded of how being of two worlds, merely existing, had afforded Ma only death, and for me, suffering. As I entered the busy streets, programs began to play on hollow screen billboards, on the side of brick buildings, and on uneven pavement. The same recording played too often. Head gardener's face and upper body were constantly plastered in my world. I could never forget her, even if I tried, after what she'd done. Attention, lower residents, salutations. Security status is in the yellow zone due to increased amounts of rebellion activity. Please report any suspicious actions to your nearest watchman hive. Your cooperation is greatly appreciated, and as always, long live the Union of Civilization. Head gardener balled her fist and held it in the air, the Union's signature salute. Head gardener was the Union's hero, their protector. To me, she was enemy number one and Ma's murderer. Alright, that was an intense chapter 1. There's a lot more to go for chapter 1, but that will be reserved for the second reading. I hope you enjoyed that reading, and if you do, give it a like, yeah? And share it with the world. Don't forget to subscribe as well if you haven't done so. What are you waiting for? Subscribe now. Anyway, have a great night, and I wish you well. Until then, I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.